Karen's scream echoed like a banshee's wail, slicing through the quiet cul-de-sac. "Those balloons are a disgrace, and I'll fine you all to oblivion," she shrieked, waving a clipboard like a war banner. The neighborhood, once a sleepy haven of manicured lawns and polite waves, had become a battleground overnight, all because of a few floating orbs of color. It started innocently enough: a child's birthday party, a splash of red, blue, and yellow balloons tied to a mailbox. But in this HOA-controlled enclave where conformity was king, those balloons might as well have been Molotov cocktails. Karen, the self-appointed HOA enforcer, wasn't your average busybody. She was a legend in her own mind, a 50-something divorcee with a perm as tight as her grip on the rulebook. Her official title was compliance officer, but to the residents of Sunnyvale Estates, she was the Grim Reaper of joy. For years, she'd patrolled the streets, issuing fines for unapproved mailbox colors, rogue garden gnomes, and even a rogue Christmas light left up past January 15th. Her latest obsession? Balloons. According to Karen, they were visual pollution, a blight on the neighborhood's pristine aesthetic. When little Emma's 6th birthday party sparked a $7,500 fine threat for unauthorized decorations, the community snapped. The trouble began 3 days ago. Emma's mom, Sarah, a single mother with a warm smile and a knack for baking, had thrown a modest backyard bash. Balloons bobbed above the fence, catching the sunlight and the laughter of kids. It was the kind of scene that made you believe in community until Karen showed up. She stormed through the gate, her heels clicking like a metronome of doom, and slapped a violation notice on Sarah's picnic table. "Remove those balloons by 8 a.m. tomorrow, or it's $7,500, she barked, citing some obscure HOA clause about temporary structures. Sarah, stunned, tried to reason. "They're just balloons, Karen. It's a kid's party." But Karen's eyes gleamed with the thrill of power. "Rules are rules," she said, and strutted away, leaving a trail of dread. Word spread like wildfire. By evening, the neighborhood's group chat was ablaze. "She's gone too far," typed Mike, a gruff mechanic who'd once been fined for parking his truck too prominently. "We're not paying for Emma's balloons," wrote Lisa, a teacher who'd tangled with Karen over her unapproved rose bushes. The residents, a diverse mix of families, retirees, and young professionals, were united by one thing. They were done with Karen's reign of terror. A plan formed, born of equal parts desperation and defiance. They'd fight back not with lawyers or petitions, but with balloons. Hundreds of them. The next morning, Sunnyvale Estates erupted in color. Balloons covered every mailbox, porch, and tree. Red, blue, yellow, green, they floated like a middle finger to Karen's rulebook. Mike tied a dozen to his truck's antenna. Lisa draped her roses in helium-filled orbs. Even old Mr. Jenkins, who rarely left his porch, contributed a single silver balloon with "freedom" scrawled on it. Sarah, tears in her eyes, watched from her lawn as neighbors rallied around her. "We're in this together," Mike said, clapping her shoulder. But Karen wasn't one to back down. By noon, she was back, her face a storm cloud, clutching a megaphone. "This is an act of rebellion," she bellowed. "Every one of you will pay." The standoff that followed was the stuff of legend. Karen, armed with her clipboard and a stack of fine notices, faced off against 50 neighbors on the cul-de-sac. The air was thick with tension, the kind that makes your palms sweat and your heart race. Balloons bobbed mockingly above, some popping in the heat, their sharp cracks punctuating the silence. Sarah stepped forward, her voice shaking but firm. "This isn't about balloons, Karen. It's about you bullying us for years. We're done." The crowd roared in agreement, their voices a tidal wave. Mike held up a sign, "No more fines." Lisa tossed a balloon at Karen's feet, daring her to react. Karen's face turned crimson. "You think you can defy me?" she screamed, ripping a fine notice in half for dramatic effect. "I'll have the sheriff evict every last one of you." But the neighbors didn't flinch. They'd found their spine, forged in the absurdity of fighting over balloons. A teenager, emboldened, released a balloon that floated directly over Karen's head, its string brushing her perm. The crowd laughed, a raw, cathartic sound. For the first time, Karen looked small, her power crumbling under the weight of collective defiance. But Karen wasn't finished. She called in reinforcements. An HOA board meeting, stacked with her cronies, scheduled for that evening. The neighbors, undeterred, showed up en masse, balloons in tow. The meeting room, a sterile community center with flickering fluorescence, became a circus. Balloons filled the ceiling, bumping against each other like a colorful rebellion. Karen presented her case, her voice dripping with venom. "These people are destroying our community's standards," she declared, pointing at Sarah, who sat with Emma on her lap. The board, a trio of spineless yes-men, nodded grimly. A vote was called to enforce the $7,500 fine and ban balloons permanently. Then Mike stood up, a man of few words. He spoke with a gravelly intensity that silenced the room. "You fine Sarah, you fine us all. We'll tie balloons to every damn house until you bankrupt yourselves chasing us." The crowd erupted, chanting, "No fines! No fines!" Lisa, tears streaming, added, "This is about a little girl's birthday. What kind of people are you?" The board hesitated, sensing the tide turning. Even Karen's allies looked uneasy, their loyalty wavering under the neighbors' raw passion. In a desperate move, Karen played her trump card. She'd called the sheriff. 2 deputies arrived, looking more annoyed than authoritative. "Ma'am," one said to Karen, "we've got real crimes to deal with. Balloons aren't one of them." The room exploded in cheers, balloons popping like gunfire. Karen, humiliated, stormed out, vowing revenge. The board, cowed by the uprising, tabled the fine indefinitely. The neighbors won for now, but victory came at a cost. That night, someone slashed the tires of Sarah's car. A week later, Mike's truck was vandalized with spray paint. Whispers spread that Karen, unhinged by her defeat, was behind it, though no proof surfaced. The neighborhood, once united, grew paranoid. Balloons disappeared, replaced by suspicion. Sarah, exhausted, moved away with Emma, unable to afford the mounting repair bills and the emotional toll. The cul-de-sac, once vibrant with defiance, fell silent, its spirit broken. Karen, though dethroned, had left her Marca community fractured, its fight for joy tainted by bitterness. In the end, the balloons were gone, but the scars remained. Sunnyvale Estates learned a brutal lesson. Standing up to tyranny comes with a price, and sometimes even winning feels like losing. What do you think, was the community's rebellion worth the cost? Or should they have played by Karen's rules? Share your thoughts on where justice lies in this tangled mess of pride, power, and balloons.